What you about to witness is my thoughts. Just my thoughts, man. Right or wrong, just what I was feeling at the time.
Now, I know you see the title, so I'm gonna just get right into it and explain. So while he was on a 15-year-long run being in control of the game, it's almost certain that Drake would grow some level of confidence that has a chance of growing into ego. Clearly, he was the top artist at the time, creating many moments through his features, through his albums, through his moments in social media. And from some of those moves and comments in his lyrics, you can also tell that that ego was present from the last few years. Despite being the hottest artist, bringing consistency and quality, individuals like Joe Budden did still have word about Drake saying that he isn't as motivated as he used to be, and actually claimed that Drake was afraid of creating certain musical risks that he did early on in his career. But during the battle, this might have been some of the best bars we've heard from him in a minute. From push-ups to Family Matters, and even the tailor-made freestyle. The motivation was there, and he delivered from a musical standpoint. Now, Meet the Grams, dropping under an hour after Family Matters, might be the greatest strategic move we've seen in a battle.
Hey, Ken, you want to turn the lights off?
And I'll leave him off.
Did you hear that?
Drake dropped.
You heard it?
I expected it.
Oh, okay. You know you was talking about...
My family.
Yeah.
I'm uploading now.
That was the entire turning point of this whole beef. And if Family Matters gets even 3 days of breathing room, we're having a completely different conversation. And we've seen, despite his record when it comes to beefs, when Drake is put in a position where his back is against the wall, we can't say he doesn't deliver. The deluxe of For All the Dogs, after him and Joe's back and forth, is a great example of that, man. So I'm excited to see where Drake takes his music going forward after this beef. Now, Kendrick showed a great display of strategy, controlling the narrative, knowing the audience, and most importantly, knowing his opponent. As this battle gets broken down, you kind of realize that Kendrick might have been plotting on this moment ever since they linked up in 2012, or even prior to that in 2009 on one of his first mixtapes.
Me and my girl split the bucket to KFC. She listening to Drake, and all I can say, damn, these that much better than me.
Being able to see this whole thing play out as a hip-hop fan was next level, honestly, because I've been a fan of both since they started. So if you're looking from that perspective, man, this whole thing was a movie. And I wasn't really worried about a winner, which definitely helped me enjoy it a lot more. Now, to explain why Kendrick might have backed himself in a corner and put a lot of pressure on himself is because it seems like in a perfect world, for a Kendrick fan, the result of this battle should be that Drake is over forever and Kendrick is the new top dog, no pun intended. Now let's hypothetically say that that's true and Kendrick does take Drake's place. Do we think that K-Dot is prepared to drop music at the level that Drake did? With the variety in music? Will this be another case of Kendrick leaving again for 3 more years? Will the quality or content of his music change if he does decide to drop music as much as Drake did? And does his subject matter change at all? Can he never talk about the things that Drake was talking about because of the way that he painted it? And with his comments about things like Party playing with his nose or Baka and his weird cases, is Kendrick now also unintentionally putting himself in a position to police his friends? Does it come off in a way where he almost needs to make sure nobody around him finds themselves in any controversial issues? No drugs, no weird cases. If somebody in his circle gets caught on something like that, is Kendrick looked at differently for not bringing it up? Now, we're not saying Kendrick should go and make a diss track on his homies. But the picture was painted so well against Drake that if any parts of that image is found in any part of K-Dot's camp, it might look a little hypocritical. Now, to an extent, I do personally believe that Kendrick has the power to be as consistent as Drake. There are a lot of Lucy's on the internet right now, and that have been floating on the internet in the past. And I honestly believe that if Kendrick started mastering and mixing some of these songs, it would still hit today. Because oddly enough, my favorite songs from both Kendrick and Drake aren't even official singles. They're both Lucy's. But I gotta find them on YouTube every now and then, or SoundCloud, because they get taken down after a few days or a few weeks. Now, if he took some of those singles, I can see him dropping more of those, being on more features that leads up to his albums, which kind of stops him from disappearing. And what about a world where Kendrick is the top dog, Drake isn't around, and he does go off for 3 more years without any music? What happens in between then? Does the sound change? Is he susceptible to sounding dated? Artists have a role to play. And as much as we want to believe what we want to believe right now, if Drake was to no longer make music, there would be a big hole in hip-hop that needs to be filled. And lastly, if Kendrick does become as big on the charts as Drake, those same pressures that he was talking about early on in his career, that he said Drake fell into, is it to say that Kendrick won't do the same thing? Because we can only all say what we will do until the moment comes in front of us, and then we make a real decision. But this was all just a quick thought I had and wanted to make a video for it. The overall battle was amazing, and it's dope to know that we were all able to witness probably and possibly the greatest battle in hip-hop history. But what do you think? Does Kendrick feel pressure, or is this going to be a walk in the park for him as he continues his career? And like always, man, I appreciate you guys watching, liking, subscribing, or commenting. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you soon.
Rap is an ever-changing cycle, and that the change within is inevitable. So you may have had like a favorite rapper for the last 10, 15 years, but I promise you, each and every one of you are responsible for the 4 individuals on the stage, and we will rep for y'all to the day they lay us flat on our mother. What's up? Like I said, this is my brother A$AP Rocky. This is my brother Kendrick Lamar.